My wife mocked me in front of a billionaire. 3 months later, she begged for custody she'd never get.
Steve manages boxes. Those 5 words, spoken by my wife of 15 years, hit me harder than a ton of bricks. We were at a fancy gala, surrounded by CEOs and millionaires. I was holding a champagne flute, feeling proud I'd made it there after a crazy work trip, when she just dropped that line. The laughter from the people around us was uncomfortable. My wife, Helen, didn't even look at me. She just smiled at some billionaire, talking about the importance of education. The rest of the night is a blur. All I remember is the heat in my face, the pure humiliation. The woman I had built a life with, the woman I supported, had just reduced my entire career to managing boxes. That night I knew my marriage was over. It didn't break me, though. It woke me up. See, just 3 days earlier, she'd told me about this gala. I had a major work review that decided my division's budget for the whole year. I told her I couldn't go. Her response? Can't one of your assistants handle it? As if my job, the one paying for our entire lifestyle, was just some hobby. But I made it work, I always did. I flew across the country, changed into a suit in an airport bathroom, and walked into that ballroom ready to be a supportive husband. And for what? To be belittled in front of everyone. I left without a scene. Outside, I loosened my tie and just breathed. This wasn't the first time she'd made me feel small, but it was the most public, the most deliberate. I texted her, I'm going home. Enjoy shaping future leaders. When she got home after midnight, she was furious at me. I had to make excuses for you all night, she snapped. I asked her, what did you say? That I had an emergency box shipment to deal with? The fight that followed was brutal. It was clear she saw me as beneath her. So I said it. I think we should separate, she called it melodrama. For me, it was liberation. I moved out within a week. Helen didn't seem sad, just strategic. And about 18 days later, I got an email. She was seeking full custody of our kids, Zach and Lily. The woman who dismissed me now wanted to erase me from my children's lives. That was her biggest mistake. She completely underestimated me. I'm a logistics director. My entire job is about tracking, planning, and documenting everything. And I applied that same discipline to being a father. I have records of everything. Every parent-teacher meeting, every doctor's visit, every soccer game I coached, every bedtime story I read. I had 3 years of meticulous files, not because I was planning for a fight, but because I was determined to be the best dad I could be. When my lawyer saw the folders, she almost smiled. This isn't just evidence, she said. This is a surgical strike. In court, Helen's story was predictable. Steve's always working, always traveling, he's never there. Then my evidence came out. Calendars, emails, photos, logs. Overwhelming, undeniable proof. The judge was floored. She told the court she'd never seen such comprehensive records from a parent. Helen's confidence shattered. Her whole case just fell apart. The final nail in the coffin was our son, Zach, he told the judge. Dad's always been there, always. He just plans better than everyone else. I was awarded primary custody. Not because of a trick, but because of the truth. In the hallway, Helen lashed out, accusing me of manipulating the system. I told her calmly, you didn't lose. You just never bothered to see who I really was. The years that followed weren't always easy, but they were real. Lily was angry at first, but she saw I wasn't going anywhere. Zach thrived and got into a top engineering school. Helen and I slowly learned to co-parent. Eventually, we even learned to respect each other as parents. One night, at Lily's school play, she asked if we could all get ice cream together. We looked at each other, and for Lily's sake, we said yes. It wasn't romantic, but it was respectful. A few years later, I was invited to speak at a business symposium at the very school Helen was so proud of. I stood on a stage talking about AI logistics and supply chain innovation. The students were captivated. Helen was standing in the back of the room. When I finished, she gave me a small nod. It wasn't love, but it was respect. Finally, Steve manages boxes? No, Steve manages to rebuild a life piece by piece with dignity and purpose, and you can too. Thanks for watching.